Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Alright, so simplifying docs on lexing names. Merged that. Stan was very nice and made the backport. So I consider that done. Next up on the list of things to do, which is a list of pull request numbers, so I don't actually know what it is. Reword and reorganize subscription and slicing docs. We were doing this last time, and Stan went through it and found all the issues. All right, let's focus on that, I guess. Before that, we might want to merge the F string and T string sections. I think I gave enough warnings, so let's get it merged. Is there any commentary on this? Yeah. Alright. Let's do that. And did this touch T strings? I think it did. Yeah. So the backport will be more involved. No, T strings are in 314. What am I saying? So this should be backported to 314. Hopefully it'll do that. And that will be the end of the lexical analysis section. And we can announce that later. Alright, so the regularly scheduled programming is the section on subscription and docs. And slicing docs. So let me switch to the subscription branch. I'll pull in the main branch just to be up to date so we don't get too many conflicts. Looks like we're good. And yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I should have merged all of these suggestions first, shouldn't I? So let me undo that commit and go through suggestions. Thank you, Stan, for reading this with fresh eyes. Subscription and slicing. Huh, so as a native speaker, what do you think about
Hmm.
this? That's a change from the original.
Um. Yeah, I suppose.
So if I look at
I
the
suppose that might actually be correct. Because subscription is the gerund. In other words, it would be like subscripting and slicing. Subscriptions
right,
feels a little bit more like it. Yeah.
but what's the name of the expression? That's subscription, right? And all of these
Yeah.
are atoms, identifiers, literals, list displays, set displays, yield expressions, primaries. Should this be subscription in the singular?
Ah.
And of course, the second half of this chapter is
Then
a weight
then
expression, the power
slicing.
operator. No, these two are the off.
I mean, maybe what we should be saying, maybe 633 should be slicing instead of plural. And then 632 should be the singular also, or not singular, but the whatever.
And should this be primary?
Well, oh my God. You're probably correct.
Should this be literal?
If you, I, perhaps if you're talking about a category, then maybe it is supposed to be plural. Maybe,
Yeah, that's like we're describing all the instances of
yes, yes, of course, yeah.
this kind of expression. Of course, it should be subscriptions and slicings.
It feels like when it's this early in the morning, I'll just follow suggestions and think of
Commit. I was pretty sure I copied everything I could, but then I edited it and didn't run it through the terminal again. So it's very nice that Stan did. Maybe add an example of a negative index here. The more the merrier. Yeah, that makes sense. And should we also demo deletion here? Yeah. Let's do that. Let's demo deletion. So we have these number names. We want to get everything except the last three. That makes a nice emoji here. Call there. And maybe you want to delete them. No. We want to delete everything from 4 on. Yeah, and we should use use slicings here as well. This is a fair point. Comma separated subscripts, I guess. Well, not, yeah, all of them have commas. Using examples that require bits from several examples ago and are the different section tad odd. We are also missing colons. Yeah, that makes sense. So I would do to refer to this because I can't reply to the comment while highlighting a bigger section for the code to rewrite. Missing columns. Same issue as above. Huh. We have these columns. Oh, missed a space. Definitely copied and pasted that one. Alright, so let's commit some of the suggestions and reply to the rest. Yeah, and I guess I don't need to do anything locally now. Just wait for Stan to review it again. Oh, and some check failed. Which check failed? Test docs. Warning. Token. Reference target not found. Python grammar slicing. Okay. Let's look at that. Yeah, I do need to do something locally. So merge the main branch. First pull the changes I just made. What's the situation on my branch here? Oh, we wanted to start on glossary entries. Right. So that's what we'll do here. Now token reference target not found in slicing. Oh, this is how you can link to the production lists apparently. And we're missing Python grammar slicing. And we're missing that in simple statements. So because we merged subscription and slicing, so we need to get rid of this one.
Okay.
I mean, we have the links here, so we probably don't need this note. Keep this thing. Augmented target needs links to subscriptions as well.
I'll be on mute for a few moments while I putter around in the kitchen.
So if the target is a subscription and if the target is a slicing, so slicing is now a special case of subscriptions. So the primary expression in the reference is evaluated. We don't need to repeat that. It should yield mutable sequence object or a mapping object. The primary expression instead of is evaluated and it should yield, we say should evaluate a mutable sequence object. assigned object should be a sequence object of the same type. That's not really the case. If I have something like this and I assign range, it works fine. So we should instead say the sign should be object should be iterable, and iterable is probably a term in the glossary. And we need to take this part here and say the setItem method is called on the I don't even say what it's we don't even say what it should be because it can be anything. User defined objects, it's for all objects now. And then the primary setItem method is called with 2 arguments. The subscript and the assigned value. typically the set item is uh, set available or defined on mutable sequence objects such as lists and mapping objects such as dictionaries. And behaves as follows. If the primary is a mutable sequence object such as list, subscript must be an integer, if it's negative, blah blah blah, resulting value must be non-negative, blah 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 blah. There's probably a better place to put this. If the primary is a mapping object, the subscript must have a type compatible with the mapping's key type. What? Mapping is then asked to create a key value pair which mounts the subscript. Blah, blah, blah. If the target is a slicing, primary expression should evaluate to a mutable sequence object. The sign object should be iterable. The lower and upper bounds expressions are evaluated insofar as they are present. So let's say the slicing's lower and upper bounds should be integers because we're now explaining set item, so not the syntax, but what the method does.
I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't have a separate section just for the pros.
We should, but I'm trying to leave that restructuring to whenever we get to the simple statements chapter itself.
Yeah, fair enough.
So here I'm trying to, well, I'm probably trying too much to make it correct. But since we merged slicing with subscription, it does need a bit of rewrite. Syntax for targets is taken to be the same as for expressions, and invalid syntax is rejected during the code generation phase, causing less detailed error messages. Is that the case? I don't think that's the case anymore. Should we remove this entirely? Let's see. Single target, single subscript attribute target. Yeah, we have T primary, which means target primary. So that's target assignment. Yeah, so this implementation detail, we can remove that because we have good error messages now. And the most important thing I did here is remove the star. Alright, let's go on where else? Where else is slicing used? I think that's all. Good. Okay. Did we have any other? No. Any other? No. Okay. So what does the diff look like? Remove slicing. Remove slicing. Right. Okay. And now we start on the glossary entries. I think there was some kind of snag there. So glossary, we have key. So key is a value that names an entry in a mapping. Should probably look at the mapping to see what terms it uses. Container object that supports arbitrary key lookups and implements the method specified in mapping. Examples include dict. Okay, so it just uses key. Why not? A value that names an entry in a mapping. That's probably enough. Names, can say identifies an entry in a mapping. See also subscript. We should do the same for index. Unless we already have an entry for index. No, I don't see it. Index. Okay, do we have a term for slice?
I don't think so.
Slice, an object usually containing a portion of a sequence.
Okay, excellent one.
Is created using the subscript notation, colons between numbers. I would say describing rather than containing, as it only describes the portion of the
Yes.
sequence that you're maybe you can remove the usually, but maybe not. Okay, apparently I shouldn't use empty lines here or here or here. So now a subscript is the expression in square brackets of a subscription expression. We will link the whole thing here. Usually used to select an element of a container. Also called a key when subscripting a mapping, or an index when subscripting a sequence. Slice. Oh, man. I wouldn't say that. So this links to subscription expression, which has a section on slices, so I don't think we need. This. What does the slice entry say again? Subscript notation. So this should say slicing subscription or a subscription. Colons between numbers. Well, let's say a slice is usually created, or slices created internally. Slices created when using the subscript notation. Slicing notation? Well, we save this.
Yeah.
Maybe we should say slicing form of subscript notation with colons inside square brackets. Such as in variable name 135. Now the bracket notation uses slice objects internally, just repeats what I said here. That's nice. And we can also link the class documentation, or maybe make it more obvious that this is a class. Does this look good?
I think. Yes.
Right, so we have the glossary. Maybe we need to link it now from places.
Right.
But I forgot where we should link it from. I think we got some way through the pull request
6. Oh, right.
to get here. I just saw other mentions of slicing, so let's look at those as well. Assignment expressions must be surrounded with parentheses when used as expression statements and when used as sub-expressions. Slicing, conditional lambda, and so on. That's fine here. As you can no, that's not a good variable name, sorry. So you can use an assignment expression directly in the square brackets, but not when using slicing. That would be very confusing. So slicing is fine here. And now subscription, slicing, call attribute reference. So subscription is a special form of so slicing is a special form for subscription. So technically we could remove this, or we could add like index 1, index 2 with a comma or a star here if you want to have all the forms of subscription. Or maybe we should say including slicing. How does that look? I guess I should go ahead and make all of this plural.
Yeah.
Duple subscripts, or what did we come up with here? Parentheses.
Right. We need a few more of those.
Oh yeah, I'm
Carrot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
wondering if I should keep this long thing
Uh,
or just call it comma separated
maybe.
subscripts.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Because they aren't always necessarily tuples, right?
They are.
Oh, they are.
If
Even
you
where
use
it
the
says
comma,
like,
you get a tuple.
oh, that's wild. Okay. Oh, I see. Even though it's a list, it's not a list. It's a subscript. Okay. Never mind me. My neurons are just rewiring themselves.
That's good. That's why you're here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so let's see how this works. Oh, we have a title underline that is too short on line 936 because restructured text cares a lot about that kind of thing. Good. Let's push that and I wanted to add this, but let's leave it for a reply. What kind of
I
errors
wonder,
did we get?
is there a difference?
Yes?
Is there a difference? Is there a difference between saying subscriptions and slicings versus subscriptions and slices?
Yes. So slicing
Okay.
is the expression, like the syntax element.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
Slice
And
is the
slices
object.
are the result.
Right.
The, okay.
They're very different. So this is a slicing,
Yes.
slicing assignment. This is a slicing.
Yes.
but the thing described here is the slice. So this
This
thing.
is slice. Very good. Yeah.
So you can create a slice manually.
I wonder if we. I wonder if we need to make that distinction in the index, in the glossary. I mean, for me, it seems easy to grasp because almost a native speaker of English. Um, but I wonder if perhaps someone who might not.
So to me, the distinction is not that important.
Fair enough.
It's a
Okay.
bit like the difference between parameters and arguments. Right? If you're writing documentation, you should probably know
Yeah.
which is which, and they do have a formal definition, and it's actually wrong
Fair
to
enough.
use them in the wrong spot. But if you
Right.
mix them up, nobody cares.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Fair enough. Okay.
The same here. If you say slice instead of slicing, like
Yeah.
I try to be very pedantic in the documentation I write, and
Sure.
there are some people who are helped by this.
Okay.
You know, uh, if you have a very technical mental model of how the syntax works, then using the like the correct terms everywhere, I well at least it helps me like make sure that I'm reading things correctly.
Right.
But I learned that there aren't too many people like that, so I always try to make the docs readable for people who don't really care about the pedantic details.
Sure.
Right, so that's it for subscriptions. Maybe we should oh, here it is to do add a glossary entry for subscript. Let's look at the documentation we just built and see if we have subscript. Right, this expression is square brackets expression. This should do it. This could do with an example, right? It's very abstract. Maybe this. Now the glossary is a weird thing because
Yeah.
the entries don't start with proper sentences.
Oh,
Okay.
fair enough.
They're marked and their format is in as sentences, but you're supposed to prefix this with a subscript is,
Yeah.
which would be really repetitive and annoying. And we added terms for
We had a
key
few
and
extras that we.
index, right? So mapping, that was already there. Should we link key in the mapping entry? Probably not. And it says, where is it? Key, a value that identifies entry in a mapping. So it doesn't really say anything more. Should we expand this? Element is probably better than entry. And in Python is redundant, but it's probably good to mark it up as a quirk of the language. Is this understandable? And most people reading this probably already know.
Yeah. No, I think it's okay. I mean, do we need to have a reference to key?
To key, no, we have a
A
reference to subscript, which
subscript. Okay.
says key
And
for
then oh, okay,
mappings and
great,
index
perfect.
for sequences.
Okay. Well, by the way, in the previous screen, there was a missing R.
Ooh,
What
good
was?
catch.
Yeah.
Oh, twice. Right. Looking better and better.
Yep.
So I will make it and push it. Looks like no errors. Alright. And I think everywhere we use the terms in the docs we are adding, we actually define them, so maybe we don't need to link to the glossary for the stuff we're defining in the text.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so that's it for subscriptions. Let's see what else we can change. So we got here through Adams. We have some identifiers, literals, parenthesized forms. These turned out to be a bit complex. Displays for lists, sets, and dictionaries is section 6 to 4. 6 to 5 is list displays. That should probably be a subsection. This has no place in the grammar docs. Come on. Shall we look at the primaries now? Like the other primaries. Primaries represent the most tightly bound operations of the language. What is tightly bound? And is this term understandable?
Tightly bound?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it, I don't know, maybe for people who are into programming languages, but I mean, I would guess no.
So it's the ones with the highest precedence.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe say that is among the ones with the highest precedence.
Well, they are. They're not among. They defined as.
No, yeah. Okay, right.
Alright, so let's get a new branch for this. Building on top of the subscription. expressions. Primaries represent the most tightly bound operations of a language. That is operations with highest precedence. Syntax is atom, attribute, ref, subscription, and call, where atoms are defined just before primaries. Atoms are the most basic elements of expressions. So I would rather put this in prose again. So attribute references, subscriptions, slicings, and calls. Probably need to mark this up somehow. Instead of production list, we were using the new
Grammar
thing,
snippet.
grammar snippet. Thank you.
Grammar snippet? No, grammar snippet, yeah.
Group Python grammar. And I need atoms as well. Ooh, I forgot the ref thing, right?
Ah, yeah.
Sphinx is not happy about that. Should we give an example for each one of those? So you know what what to click.
Yeah, of course.
Might
But,
be better.
yeah, examples are good. almost feels like examples almost feels like the kind of thing you want an AI assistant for.
Yeah. So the problem I have with that is, it gives you an answer, and then all you have to do is check if the answer is correct, right? Because sometimes it's not, and I mean that's how it works.
Well, I'm thinking more like to generate more as a kind of a like to stimulate thinking or like like a creative aid rather than an auto. Yeah, more like an auto suggest rather than I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm always worried that there's some good suggestion that the AI will miss.
Of course,
I
no, that's true.
prefer, thinking about the problem when I generate these, looking at references and things like that. I don't know. It would probably be faster with AI just writing it, but everyone can get that. Also, you need something to feed to the AI, right? To train it
Well,
on.
yes, of course. No, I'm thinking, yeah,
So we have identifiers, literals, enclosures, and the enclosures are interesting. We probably want an example there. And the enclosures are, it's like a list. Attribute reference, such as, what's the most basic attribute reference you can find?
most basic attribute reference.
Math.py. Like what's the first attribute reference you come into contact when you're learning Python?
Yeah, like hello world or something. Exactly.
Do we have enough synonyms for such as? Like,
Yeah. For instance, for example. Yeah, exactly.
like, oh, I want to use EG here. You're not supposed to use that, but it's kind of obvious what it means, right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you're not supposed to use it? I thought since it was
No,
Latin, it would be okay.
like, you don't need to know Latin to read the docs.
Right.
Now this there does not refer to the kinds, but to the primaries, so I need to rewrite that to be clear. Right, let's go on. Let's commit this. Attribute reference. An attribute reference is a primary followed by a period and a name. Sorry, I need to step away for a minute or two.
Yeah, no problem.
No. Sorry for the interruption, I'm back. So an attribute reference is a primary followed by a period and a name. Okay. So we said names are identifiers and keywords, and of course you can't use a keyword here. So it's followed by an identifier, and we should use an example. Like this. And then we say the primary must evaluate an object of a type that supports attribute references, which most objects do. Well, getter. Oh, object doesn't have get attribute. Oh, it has get attributes. Well, there are some objects where you can't get attributes from, but that behaves in the same way as the type of none allowing getting attributes but having no attributes and having no way to set an attribute. So all object types support attribute references. So we remove this. Most objects do. We should say something like when evaluating this at runtime. Primary, and ask the resulting object to produce the attribute whose name is the identifier. And it will call the getAttribute method or the getAttr method. object get attribute fallback itself. Yeah. Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
I think this ask the resulting object to produce the attribute whose name is the identifier. That's probably the simpler explanation. And it does this by calling the getAttribute method or the getAttr method. So customize by overriding even the built-in objects do that now. So it does this by first calling the getAttribute method, which either returns a value or raises an attribute error if the attribute is not available. We can say the method may signal that the named attribute is not available by raising attribute error. This will indicate in this case the interpreter calls guess we should say the if first. So if the primary has the getOuter method, the interpreter calls that as a fallback. Right. The type and value produced is determined by the object. Multiple evaluations of the same attribute. Reference may result in different objects. We need to get rid of the yield terminology for stuff that's not generators. Now here putting the formal grammar last is not that obviously correct if the grammar is this simple. In fact, it's so simple I skipped checking if it matches the grammar. Let's see. Primary, we have primary dot name, right? Primary slices, so this is slicing. Primary generator expression as a special case. I wonder if the call syntax in the docs includes that. Argument list comprehension. So this is more complicated. So you can have primary and a generator expression, for example, print x for x in some string, and this is technically a separate case from like having arguments here.
Oh.
Because, for example, you cannot use this as a single argument. Need to parenthesize that because it's not clear to humans if this should be this or if we should yield tuples from the generator expression.
Oh.
And this is like in many cases of generator expressions, like you can cannot use it on its own, you have to parenthesize it. And there are some special cases where it's allowed to not parenthesize it. Assignment is not one of them.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so that should be covered under call. And yeah, Adam is last. So yeah, this is correct. We should probably look. No, this is correct. Quite simple. And we should link this properly. When it's first. Let's look how it looks when rendered. Yeah, this it is quite unclear. Let me rewrite that. In this case, let's go back to the interpreter calls the getAttr method as a fallback. Of the primary to use it again. Alright, this method by bypassed get attribute. Should be mentioned that these are special methods.
Wait, how do you mean that they're special?
Well, they're special because they're only looked up on the class of the object.
Oh. So they're...
The lookup for the special names is quite weird. But I don't know if we have a good place to link right now. Do we mention special methods somewhere else? Oh yeah, it's the neg, pause, invert. Well, we have lots of special methods. They're not linked as terms. Let's use that. Should probably use it in subscriptions and slicing as well, right? This get item special method. Special. And I probably want to add that to the previous pull request. Special method, special method, special method, special method. Oh, this opened in a different screen, so you're not seeing what I'm doing. So I added special methods. And I'll need to cherry pick this later. Right, so that's it for the primary. sorry, attribute references. Hopefully this is fine. The next section is subscriptions and slicing. Should we have more examples here? Yeah, let's do, I know a good example. Hello.upper without the parentheses. Maybe we should add that note the period is also used as part of numeric literal syntax. For example, and let me try that to make sure I'm not lying. So if you do 3.2, that's obviously not an attribute reference. If you do 3.e, that's not an attribute reference. Let's use this an example. And it's a number, right? Where it's floating point literal. But 3 dot anything is considered a literal.
Three dot. Oh. Oh, I see. Because it's and it's not just because it's the number 3. It's any integer, right? I mean,
yes.
Right. Okay.
Sparse does an invalid number token.
Right.
I would say to people you can use parentheses. For example, if you want to know the bit length of 3, like what do? You can use 3 equals this, 2 bytes. Oh, that's probably a good one. Conjugate. You want to conjugate the number 3. What is... Oh, that's a complex number thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 bytes is probably... And by now this should be a note. And you can... So you can also use 3.2 bytes. So this is only for integer literals, because if you have floats, floats have something. Floats have something like hex. Oh, that's nice. So if you do 3.2.hex, that's fine. Okay. Integers don't have hexes; they have 2 bytes. Oh. Two. Hope that's useful. push it in case you want to look at the branch.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, and I should also put you in the co-authored line, right? Oh, that's not you. This one's you.
It's not what? Oh.
I copied the wrong author line. Stan is not here today.
Okay. Well, it's alright. I mean, just here in spirit.
Definitely. Spend a bunch of time reviewing his review. Alright, Expressions Primaries is the name of the branch. I hope the non-LLM documentation writing is still interesting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think so.
Well, that's good. Thank you for coming here. It's always good
Right
to
on.
bounce ideas off you.
Yeah.
And see you next week.
See you next week.